well into the Kasante though, so
Yeah.
it's not like he's picking that into a good matchup. He's picking it as TSM want frontline here. They want a standard team fight. So I do expect them to go with something
this would be
similar
exciting.
in jungle as well.
Please do the rat. I would love the rat.
I would love the Neela, but it's not going to happen.
We don't get either of our wishes, Kobe. They're going to go with the Varus instead.
All right, Varus definitely quite strong right now. Isn't going to get nerfs until the next patch, which just actually hit live today, so you can play it at home. But Varus can definitely go with the static Shiv build. Definitely has good AP routes right now that synergize quite well with it. Zoe as well, a mid laner that I think is very good at utilizing static Shiv.
Yeah!
Won't get locked in, but it is the kill matchup into the Azir. The Akali, the Yone are those assassin kill matchups into the Azir mid lane. And Jojo, you know, always wants to play super aggressive, especially against mid laners that have just arrived in the LCS. And it pairs extremely well with the Sejuani. So love all these synergies that Evil Geniuses are stacking up here. This champion select looks very aggressive from them. And I definitely would favor Evil Geniuses seeing this right now. Nocturne coming out to support in the jungle here. Boogie picking that one up. The cover of darkness allows Kaisa movement around team fights a lot more too. When you're facing so much dive in Yone, Sejuani, Renekton, any little bit of cover is going to help.
Yeah.
And Kaisa plus Nocturne, possible dive follow-ups there on the Rakan engage. So TSM, not too shabby with the synergies they've been able to build for themselves, but it just looks like a very difficult onslaught of especially aggro topside for Evil Geniuses, with both solo laners playing off of an aggressive Armeo.
Yeah.
An Armeo who's come into the league performing extremely well and has some pretty good synergies with those solo laners.
Yeah, Evil Genius is asking the big question. Ruby, do you have what it takes to stand up for yourself and be able to match against Jojo for wave priority? Because if you can't, then the top side of the jungle is going to be invaded upon by Armeo. You can bet that he's going to use Jojo and Revenge's Prio to try and invade onto Boogie, prevent him from getting to level 6 where he gets access to that paranoia and can start rolling the game for TSM. Because if TSM do not make proactive plays around paranoia, then what are you picking the champion for? And every single ultimate with the long ultimate cooldown timer in the early game makes it so that you need to make them count.
All right, let's get into it. Ruby's first game has arrived for TSM. Got his most played champion of all time. They got him some comfort here with the Azir, and a very good time in the meta to pick up Azir as well, with everybody jumping on board after those buffs of the previous patch. Chime getting a little bit sneaky here. Maybe they could get a summoner spell or something. Any little advantage for Ruby in the mid lane?
Yeah,
Jojo sometimes does get a little friendly early on, dancing around, emoting.
I don't think EG saw Chime grand entrance over the wall, so they're in complete fog right now.
Not, yeah.
If Jojo steps up, might be the angle here. Jojo, don't be greedy, brother.
Looks like it should be all good. The other route that you usually want to watch versus Rakan is over the back of the Dragon Pit here, because you can go with some level 1s where you surprise them there. And so Ayla walking back and forth here does get visual confirmation. EG don't have to spend a defensive ward there or anything, and they actually just go for the pretty deep one into the river here.
No shenanigans will occur for either side of the team, so it should just be normal. Jojo, I see you just trying to take the Raptors here and you look for a little bit of an early trade by having that third proc of Mortal Steel ready to harass Ruby in lane.
Yep, charge up the Qs so you can get your wave priority. You want to pressure this Azir, start that wave push as early as possible. And he is going to be able to do it. Nocturne usually prefers full clears. You actually do have an okay duel versus a lot of matchups. Sejuani's not one of them, because Sejuani can just leave anytime you try and duel her. And so should just be a full clear for the Nocturne, especially considering TSM's scaling potential to end on down towards the bottom side. So I like the call from Armeo to also match that top side down clear on the Sejuani to try and get to that pushing Varus lane. And that's what you change with that late game or that late champion select pick of the Varus. for Evil Geniuses. They get that push on the bottom side into the Kaisa Rakan here, and should be able to get a decent amount of harassment done under the tower. See how many of these they can deny. Already have done a decent job and come out with a decent early lead, honestly.
Armel's going to be first here on the river. He skipped both his Krugs and Raptors so he can make the early invade. Might look to catch Boogie before he gets to his blue buff, and they're both level 3, so there's no level difference for either jungler here. And Armel is now putting the pressure, stalling and preventing Boogie from getting level 4. So this slows down Nocturne's clear speed. And even if Armel doesn't get this blue buff off of Boogie, it's just all stalling time, because now they'll both be level 3 by the time Scuttlecraft spawns.
Trying to get as much off of his pushing bottom lane as he could, but Nocturne is beating him up. Forces the flash. Nicely done there from Boogie, chasing him out, making Armeo pay. And we were talking about it in Champ Select. Armeo has been so good for Evil Geniuses so far, being very aggressive, working off of JoJo pushing lanes mostly. In this case, he was trying to work off bottom pushing lane and did get a little bit too close to the Nocturne. Yeah. And once that huge trail of the extra speed is on you, he took a lot of damage. Unforgiven also taking a decent amount of damage here as Chime. Having the confidence to go in, knowing that the Sejuani has been fully chunked out and is just going to be on a tiny sliver of health clearing her jungle. So nice little opportunity there. They do get the Ghost is already down for Unforgiven in exchange for the early heal that they had been able to blow. But looks pretty nice there for Boogie being able to now reverse clear right back up to that top side.
Now, the fact that Boogie was able to get Armeo's flash, I think that totally works out in TSM's favor. Yeah, his level 6 is a bit stunted at the moment, but I mean, you've delayed a lot of pressure from Armeo being able to help this bottom side of the map, and it's already resulted in Summoner Spell advantage for the bottom side. As now, a heal being popped by Ayla, they want the movement speed. They're looking on the advantageous side of the trade. They just push him out here.
And I'd actually even say Boogie's level 6 is super on pace. It didn't actually get anything stolen in there, so doesn't really stunt it. And honestly, with 36 CS here off of the reverse clear 2 at 5 minutes, should be on a decent pace. 2 pressure, maybe JoJo in mid lane.
Sure.
You know, with a player that likes to play so aggressively, maybe they can leverage Boogie's Nocturne level 6 early play in there. Again, so many eyeballs on Ruby here. See if the team can kind of play around him, maybe get Chime a support recall timer as well. If you bring Rakan plus the Nocturne, definitely have everything necessary to be able to punish a Yone. As long as you get real close for the ultimate, then he's not going to be able to gain a lot of distance there, and can definitely burn up the flash at the very least.
Chime is here in the mid lane, but Ayla as well, and the ward being dying out means now that TSM realize that EG have full information, that they're wary of this potential play looking on the mid lane. Since JoJo has been beating up Ruby in the CS department, a lot of the pressure, they need the pressure relief for Ruby, but the fact that EG are matching it just means that Ruby has to suffer a little bit more.
So we continue the farm pace here. Small leads for Evil Geniuses out of the laning phase. Yeah, mid lane, which we're looking at the Yone pick, but also on top side, Revenge, you know, pushing an extra wave into Haunster, and we'll see how many of those CS Haunster can get as Yone can easily just snap back. Yeah, it's not gonna get any extra damage there. 1 tower shot taken, and JoJo has ult advantage, but Boogie is hovering now to help Ruby have the security to get this lane in, this wave in.
JoJo would have to be pretty ballsy to look for an all-in, even with Ruby's health being that high. Armeo is also waiting in this pocket just to make sure. He knows that Boogie might be hovering for JoJo's crash, as Ruby now will look to take wave priority and both junglers resume. So, I mean, this game is really just about protecting Ruby at all costs, making sure that he doesn't suffer a huge detriment to this Yone, because we've seen Yones in the past before. If they get a huge lead, they just take over the game.
Nice chunk damage from the Evil Geniuses bottom lane. So all lanes winning for EG out of Champion Select. And one of the reasons you highlight in Champ Select the 3 pushing winning lanes here, this is what you want to accomplish in the early stages of the game. Ideally, they could have gotten a little bit more, you know, playing off those and going super aggressive with jungle, but they're definitely set up nicely so far with over 1,000 gold lead from pure laning from them with some advantageous matchups. And the double range poke on bottom side is about to get worse, because once Varus gets level 6, then you actually can have some kill pressure, namely towards the Rakan, not even towards Wild Turtle since he's taking cleanse, but you can really punish Rakan. If Rakan goes in for a bad engage, Melio can kick him, and then you can get the ultimate from Varus combo. Jojo goes for an ult. Does not get the kill, but does get the push out pressure, and Ruby has already used TP.
Seemed like there was some hesitation there. Jojo thought about, oh, do I kill this guy? Whatever, I'll go for it. And it doesn't quite hit the Fate Seal, but you know what? It's all about sending a message, making sure that Ruby is uncomfortable. He has the wave pressure and the priority so that regardless, EG will still get this Rift Herald on time.
Yep. Push in mid off that trade, push on top as well the entire time from Revenge with the Renekton, so easy for Armeo. And now once you're level 6 with Sejuani and you've got Rift Herald in hand, we may see the first big play from EG and the snowball start to actually pop off. TSM will take the other half of the map, the Constellation Dragon, which is decent for them to be able to grab, but it is a calculated move by Evil Geniuses because you want to snowball with this team. You want to get the most out of the turret plate stage of the game because there's so much gold on the map to be able to take, and they're set up to do that. So now we track our Mayo. Where's this Sejuani ultimate gonna go? Where's this Rift Herald gonna go? Revenge has done his work on the top side with his Demolish, has been able to get 2 turret plates already, look like even 3 turret plates for himself, 1 on bottom by hand as well. There we go. Only 1 left remaining and already doing the dirty farming.
Yeah, and now the pressure is up to Boogie because we have not seen this Paranoia yet. He did hit level 6 just a couple of minutes ago, but now the question is, does he want to use it aggressively or use it defensively? Once again, Jojo, in this interaction, because you have the Soul Unbound, even if he throws out the Emperor's Divide, he just blinks right on back to the starting position.
Yep, and that's the aggressive nature of the matchup we keep highlighting for the Yone picks into it. Chime.
Oh, great look by Chime. Good roam timer as well, and the Paranoia, the first use is beautiful for TSM. First blood to Boogie.
That's that combination, Rafa. The Chime Roam plus Boogie ultimate level 6. Exactly as they drew it up. Nocturne ult and Rakan ultimates. Jojo goes over a little bit too close. Chime doesn't even have to flash or anything. No time for Jojo to react then. You get charmed into knock up into dead with all the damage. So very good first blood for TSM, but Evil Geniuses are still able to get the extra push here with their resets. And Revenge doing a bit of extra bullying. Armeo coming to help. They can get the kill and the tower if Haunter goes back too far.
Throw out the Glacial Prison, and it's just a flash trade from Haunter. They push him off. This should guarantee maybe 1 more plate off the Demolish proc, but they're not going to use the Rift Herald to take down the turret just yet.
Revenge, there's so many positive things to talk about with this EG lineup, but the Revenge signing is definitely one a lot of people were happy to see as he slice and dices away from the Q3 from Haunter. He doesn't get hit by much at all in that trade. Absolutely stomps on him there. And yeah, has taken 4 of the turret plates on top side, so making good use of the Renekton advantage.
Chime does not have ulti, but he does force Jojo away, so it doesn't look like he actually got any of the gold off of the crash. Only the plate gold went to Armeo. And Ruby's going to stop him from recalling, which is a little bit of a nuisance. But EG now back to their set plays, waiting for their next Glacial Prison timer.
They want to attack Jojo again. He dodges the ultimate and gets out with his own. Very nice.
It's really close that no one from TSM was able to cut him off during the Fate Sealed. Otherwise, that was definitely at least a Jojo flash or a Jojo dead on the screen.
Saves his flash, cleans up the rest of the wave, and he does have teleport back and ready too, so even with the extra damage on there, should be able to get his reset and teleport back out for the remainder of the wave. TSM off that pressure though. Boogie roaming with Chime yet again. Ayla's level 6, so they have the Millia ultimate for the cleanse.
Chime looking for another engage. Ruby over the wall. Boogie with the tether on Armeo, and he's able to get out alive. And the fear just sends him running. They have Wild Turtle in their back pockets here, but they're just going to take the Blast Cone over because they know that they do not want to fight the full onslaught of EG.
Yeah, fair enough. You know, you get a Rakan ultimate, trade for a Millia ultimate, and Varus tried to get the counter there too, so it's a 2-for-1 cooldown trade. for TSM as they're able to slip out afterwards. And now their bottom lane doesn't have to worry about that full kill pressure from the Varus coming in. You know, Sork Shoes and Static Shiv, that is a burst spike here for the Varus. So kind of nice to have that Varus ultimate down for a little bit.
All out from Hanser, but it's still a lot of damage from Revenge, as he's got quite the bit of damage to back up from this Dominus as he just walks on out, ultimate for ultimate trade, but the pressure on top lane is starting to collapse and fall under Hanser's will.
Yeah, this is what drafting some good matchups will look like for you, as well as being able to keep up that execution out of pure minions and turret plates, plus Rift Herald. 3.2k the gold lead for Evil Geniuses, and Revenge 2v1. Nocturne ultimates.
I don't think he'll even need it. He can just walk in line. Hanser is still low, but Revenge with the fear cannot do anything, and it's another pickup for Boogie on the top side of the map.
TSM do have good scaling, and they are getting some little bits of money here and there with the extra kills. They got the first blood bonus. They get another little trade kill here. You know, your first tower is killed off by the Renekton, and it's a very rich Renekton, but at least they get the kill back on him in payments. And now TSM also stopped the dragon on the other side of the map for the time being.
I mean, this is solid stuff from TSM. You know, the laning phase wasn't going their way necessarily, but in terms of their macro and team fighting, they might be able to loop around here. Teleports coming in from both Revenge and Hanser. Glacial Prison right into the middle. Ruby goes golden with the stasis, and it's Evil Geniuses that secure the dragon, but Chime, masked by the darkness of Paranoia, finds a nasty flank onto the backline of Evil Geniuses, but do they have the damage to back it on up? Boogie is forced to flash. The shutdown goes over the Revenge, and Evil Geniuses find vengeance and strike true into the heart of TSM.
Oh my goodness, it looked like a big flank here. Nocturne ultimate, turns out the lights, Chime goes in, gets the big knockup, but EG are so rich. We mentioned, even with Renekton going down, still very rich. Revenge comes back, and they wipe the team fight there. Let's take a look at it. So 4 members grouped up here. The teleports are far away from the rest of them. By the way, didn't see even a smite on that dragon. Went down to 1 HP, and Varus got it. Had it. Chime goes in, he got the big charm into knockup, then Boogie went in with the ultimate afterwards too, but look at the return damage here. Revenge goes right into the center, big Q, had the Gore Drinker as well, so was not worried in the slightest, and JoJo over the top on that Yone. Means they're able to clean up this team fight, no problem for Evil Geniuses, and extend the gold lead in addition to getting the dragon, since Varus was able to get it at 1 HP.
Yeah. Now we're at 5,000, an advantage for the side of Evil Geniuses. Second Rift Herald should be theirs to spawn, and you see the items being completed already. Multiple first item spikes were already completed prior to that fight, and now they're already well on their way to their second item. So this is going to be very tough for TSM. A lot of the gold was mostly an advantage of Boogie, but then him going down gives that shutdown back over the Evil Geniuses. So at this point, as TSM, what is your next play?
Yeah, I mean, they've been trying to scale this whole game, but they've just been bleeding too much. EG have been very good at extracting CS leads in all 3 lanes, plus a bunch of turret plate money. So as much as you're trying to play defensively and scale for TSM,
yeah,
it's just your curve is a little bit too slow due to Evil Geniuses' advantages here. So yeah, you want to say keep scaling, but don't let EG continue to increase as quickly as possible. Try and minimize your losses. Boogie's pretty far from the rest of his teammates, so.
I mean, he shuts out the lights for a haha gotcha, but for Evil Geniuses, they just walk right back on up. Chime is forced to get the hell out of there, and now Evil Geniuses, I mean, they don't get any kills off of it, but they're showing that their strength is far superior to TSM at this point of the game.
Yeah. Let's see, for TSM.
Fate sealed over the wall, looking for the damage calculation. Will the Soul Unbound Mark do enough? But he gets charmed up, and TSM punished JoJo.
All right, that's the plan, Rafa. You get delivered money. You know, they just lose their mid tower. They're just trying to rotate back over and clean up the rest of their jungle camps, get that bottom wave. They get delivered a little bit of Yone money. Perfect. All according to plan.
It's no longer a game about proactive plays. It's waiting for the other team to int first. And now JoJo thought this look was good. Unfortunately for him, Ruby had all of his omens.
Yeah, and this is good CC layering. So the key there's no point at which JoJo can snap back his soul because right out of the Ruby knockup, Chime had not finished recalling, so they get boom. You're knocked up by the Azir, you're knocked up by the Rakan. Now Rakan might be on the receiving end. Sejuani could have gotten off that stun, then might have been able to finish off something, but Chime slips out of range. No permafrost stun there for Armeo. Regardless, though, it is still such a massive lead for Evil Geniuses that they can control the map, and they can continue to both get dragon stacking, but as well look at early turns off of Baron. Because of the fact they have so much good turn potential with a Varus and a Yone ultimate, as well as Sejuani ultimates, this early lead for Evil Geniuses is going to kind of bloom out extra EG vision through the jungle. Thank you, observers. And continue to increase their control of these objectives on the map. So the pace from EG's side.
Oh, Paranoia onto the bottom side of the map. Jojo already used Fate's Seal, but Buki flashing after wants to get the kill for TSM, but Jojo throws in the thumbs up. Nice try, bro. Better luck next time, as Evil Geniuses are going to win out on the turret pushing war on the top side.
Yeah, nice escape to be able to get the extra Q charge right there and just barely live. Flash use from Jojo, but in trying to get that play started, Ruby also used his, so you take that into account. The Azir might be more vulnerable in the next team fight. If EG can find a flank, Unforgiven is fine. And the dragon is coming up, so Unforgiven needs to get his reset off back to base, and Ruby just used his teleport to topside. So you would expect that the comms right now for TSM are to give up this dragon. It is not worth dying over. Like we said, you've got a ways to go to make up this 6.5k ground versus Evil Geniuses.
Yeah.
And you would much rather make a cross-map play, maybe see how low is that turret on top side. They've got multiple members up there. It looks like the turret is full health, but they're going to do their best to make a cross-map play.
Jojo trying to put a dent into Haunter, but with the Thornmail Rush, Jojo's not doing that much damage, so for TSM, at least they can have some stable ground. But if EG decide to bring multiple members, then, well, TSM might just have to answer on back. So Wild Turtle is kept here to make sure that Haunter has another buddy to make sure the turret does not go down. I
think EG right now, since they saw the cross-map play extending time going for the turret, they wanted to get a little bit more. But TSM actually had a decent defense on bottom side, and as long as Haunter doesn't die here, TSM did a fairly good job of minimizing losses.
They recalled, and now they use the Paranoia, forcing the flash out of Revenge. And they dodge on the Glacial Prism, but there's not enough damage to follow up on taking down the Crocodile.
And a little bit slow on the flash. You know, the Fear Tether already broken by the Renekton flash, and so Boogie wanted to flash follow, but you have to be immediate with that. Ruby's still looking. They want another pass at this Crocodile with no flash. Seems a little lofty.
Unfortunately for them, there's still a tower down there, so we could just run under, and then the play would be defective. TSM now forced to answer back on the push in mid lane. Evil Geniuses now have an opportunity. There's no TSM members, there's no Paranoia to jump and capitalize on them, so they can get some vision control into this Baron side of the map.
Yeah, we're gonna get a reset pretty quick and head on over to see if the Baron turns will be successful. EG already cleaned out all the vision around Baron, then they can start it and look for picks. Looking for the turn, though. Sejuani ultimate is actually down, so Varus ultimate has to be a big playmaker in.
They got the charm down on the Jojo gun, and he's going to use Fate Seal to get out of there, but Unforgiven finds a trade on a Wild Turtle. Ruby is searching for Jojo, but Jojo's already safe, and he doesn't have teleport, but he's going to get the recall off, and TSM have lost both their jungler and their AD carry. EG got everything that they wanted. They didn't even need to take the Baron, and they have a minion wave to work with. Maybe they can push for more, but it looks like they're just going to return back to Baron.
Yeah, that's why you're always looking for the turn, and they actually get it there. It comes a little bit in a different form with Jojo going headfirst in yet again. This time, again, he actually escapes with a sliver of HP and ults out to the side. Unforgiven locking it down using his Varus ultimate to complete that one and actually getting the pick. Then the rest of the team can just go pick up Baron afterwards as Jojo.
Is he going to look for the all-in? Oh, not quite. Not enough damage.
Sante, very mobile champion.
I thought he was a tank.
He is a tank, a mobile tank.
I feel like that's not allowed. We shouldn't have that option for tanks. But Portal Gaming for Evil Geniuses, as the next dragon is not going to be up for another 2.5 minutes, but they have this Baron to work with, and so far, the answer is push through bot lane, get vision control on the bottom jungle quadrant. Oh, this is quite adventurous into the Heart of Darkness here. Boogie has no idea how many members are here, Boogie. Yeah, that jungle does not belong to you, my friend.
Yep, EG coming to retake their territory. Thank you very much for our blue quadrant of your jungle. It should allow them a pretty easy rotation over towards bottom side with this Baron buff. That secondary tower will go down fairly quickly. And Evil Geniuses on a 23-minute pace here. Should keep it up. Mid lane wave actually pretty far away with the extra clear here. So they just try and split and have 3 transition people, Unforgiven, Ayla, and Armeo, keeping full vision control of the jungle. What they can do here, the idea, keep this dark so that you have easy access to rotate back over to the other pushing lane.
Yeah.
Just do your 4-1 split push. And Armeo actually goes for the dive.
Glacial Prison, Paranoia, turns out the lights. Ruby goes golden. And it looks like the engage is stopped here for now from Evil Geniuses, but the pressure gives them that turret for free.
Exactly. It's always a good trade for EG, no matter what. With Baron buff, even when getting ult trades and health trades off here, they're able to get the objective in the aftermath and continue taking away TSM territory. I'm trying to watch this red, but there's nothing he can do by himself except watch. So Hexgate, arrival of Ruby. Armeo does have Smite.
Oh, do they actually want to fight this fight? I guess Armeo is cut off from the rest of the pack here. Evil Geniuses, though, give him a breath of life thanks to Ayla, and they turn the fight on its head. TSM thought that they were able to catch out Armeo, but he's too tanky to take down. Ruby is forced to flash over the wall, but JoJo's going to answer with a flash of his own as he slices him down to shreds. TSM now on the back foot. Evil Geniuses making their way through the mid lane. There's another dragon coming up in 20 seconds, but they're going to look for the push on the inhibitor instead.
Rafa, this EG looking like they definitely deserve #1 spot in the LCS. After this game, they will be alone in first until we continue the day. And they have absolutely smashed it for a team that just exploded in summer, was completely rebuilt around JoJo with way less money, by the way. They are dominating the LCS. So let's take a little listen in on their comms as well.
You just don't have to be scared.
Don't be scared.
Tell me if you see front line. Tell me TP. You're fighting. Give me TP ward.
I have aftershock.
I'm TPing.
I'm zoning Kai'Sa.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
I'm zoning Kai'Sa. We have mid wave.
I'm going crazy. Yeah, we got it.
We have mid wave, okay?
We come mid then.
They're fighting me.
Coming.
The main call, don't be scared. I love it. Watching it, I was thinking, oh, maybe Armeo will just come over and smite the red buff, but they just wanted to fight the entire time, and they got it. Good chase. I have to say, Unforgiven, the Varus ultimate does so much there. Being able to keep them around for the arrival time of JoJo's teleport so that JoJo can then follow with his solo bound, with his flash, to be able to get the extra kill. And you can hear the comms from each member the entire time. Revenge updating them on mid-wave as well. We have mid-wave. They're on me now. Let's rotate back. And this team is not wasting any time. 26 minutes. They successfully got their kills on the teleport play and got the mid inhibitor. So should be able to keep it up with Soul on the horizon.
Yeah, I mean, Soul will be coming up in just under 5 minutes. The nice thing for Evil Geniuses, if you've gotten a chance to watch their week 1 comms versus now, there's even a little bit of difference in how efficient the comms are. Because week 1, it used to be super chaotic. A lot of information was being fed, but now a lot of the info is very brief and succinct from each member. Because now they know it's like, okay, what is all do I need to communicate to my member now? But Revenge?
I will also say, comms are so easy when you're 11,500 gold ahead. Because, yeah, basically the only message you have to deliver is, don't be scared. We are so far ahead. Just keep them there long enough for me to fight them, because we will dunk on them. And they are able to do that. The dunking has occurred, and the dunking is still occurring right now.
So let's look on the flip side here, Kobe, because we knew that this was going to be a really tough game for Ruby to make his debut on. All things considered, I mean, he went down in CS against JoJo early, which we expected. He didn't get to do
all
that much.
All 3 lanes did, yeah.
All 3 lanes did. This is a very tough team to play against at TSM, which was expected. I don't think he's doing bad. He's not necessarily doing great, but, you know, he's not a detriment to TSM at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, they lost the whole map, so... Yeah, it is. I definitely say, yeah, like pinpointing anything is a little difficult here, since with all 3 losing lanes, it is usually and should be impossible to win a game of League of Legends unless something is too crazy with the amount of scaling difference, and there just simply isn't that available right now, as we did see the escape there. No flash now for Wild Turtle, but good execution from EG to be able to snowball this one. I don't think it's going to be too difficult for them to continue either, since Baron is on the map, and guess what? You've got Varus ultimate, Sejuani ultimate ready to go for another turn.
Yeah.
And they still have vision control of, actually, Revenge?
Do they have a pick on the Revenge? Maybe. He still has a flash to work with, and he flashes the Emperor's Divide. Gonna get tethered by that Fear, but he's got the dominance. He's got enough life sustain, and now he's gonna turn it right back onto Ruby because he has the core trigger for the Omni Slash, and he just bites him down. Boogie now on the run. He has a flash to work with, but Armeo is leading the charge here, so that flash I don't think is just gonna do anything as JoJo still takes him out. Chime trying to get Wild Turtle out, and Revenge is gonna go for a cheeky teleport just in their face because they want to close this game out fast.
That is one angry crocodile. Evil Genius is inside the base. Can they finish it now? Mid inhibitor's already down. Bottom inhibitor down now, and all that's left.
Onto the Nexus turret. First one falling to Evil Geniuses. Haunter doing everything he can to stall it out. They find one on Armeo, but it easily gets traded on back onto Haunter, and the number advantage for Evil Geniuses is enough so that they can lay waste to the final remains of TSM's base. And while we did expect it, it's still always a damn good sight to see Evil Geniuses dominating the LCS Summer Split with another win in Week 3.
The value pickups here all coming together on Evil Geniuses, and they are your #1 team in the LCS.
Current sole possession at the top of the standings until Cloud9 gets a chance to play Immortals later at the end of the day. Now, unless the Immortals play Spoiler, I imagine that Cloud9 will be joining them again, but we have to look back at the start of the season, because I know you highlighted it in the middle of the game, Kobe. This is not the expectation that the community had for how Evil Geniuses Summer Split was going to go.
Certainly isn't really well done by these players. All of them getting these chances. All of them have these backstories of needing to get different hurdles overcome, finally getting their chance as starting players on starting roster coming together around JoJo, and JoJo